Greetings, we'll cover a few details about Neil Armstrong and his life in a succinct manner. Here is a short rundown of his early years, education, career, persona, notable works, accolades, legacy and demise. American astronaut and aeronautical engineer, Neil Armstrong was the first person to set foot on the moon. In addition, he was a test pilot, university professor, and Navy aviator. Armstrong grew up in Wapakoneta, Ohio, where he was born. Also known as Neil Alden Armstrong, famous as American astronaut, the first man to set foot on the moon. Born August 5, 1930, Wapakoneta, Ohio, United States. Died August 25, 2012, Cincinnati, Ohio, United States. Father, Stephen Armstrong. Mother, Viola Armstrong. Siblings, Dean Armstrong, June Armstrong. Spouse, Carol Held Knight. Children, Eric Armstrong, Karen Armstrong, Mark Armstrong. Education, Purdue University, University of Southern California. Space mission, Apollo 11, Gemini 8. In Wapakoneta, Ohio, on August 5, 1930, Neil Armstrong was born. He was the oldest child, born to Viola Louise and Stephen Koenig Armstrong. June was his younger sister, and Dean was his younger brother. His early years were largely spent traveling between cities, because his father worked for the government as an auditor. When his father took him to the Cleveland Air Races, his enthusiasm for flying began to develop pretty young. He had just turned 2 years old. He flew in an aeroplane for the first time at the age of 5. The impression that this had on young Neil was permanent. He went to Ohio's Bloom High School in Wapakoneta. He also took flying instruction, and at the age of 16, he received his student light certificate. He was a committed Boy Scout and quickly advanced to the rank of Eagle Scout. He enrolled at Purdue University in 1947 to pursue a degree in aviation engineering. He was supported by the Holloway Plan, which stipulated that he had to complete 3 years of active duty in the U.S. Navy. After completing his engineering program, he received a call in 1949 asking him to report to the Naval Air Station Pensacola for pilot training. In August 1950, following almost 18 months of arduous training, he became officially qualified as a naval aviator. After completing a few routine tasks, he took part in his first combat mission during the Korean War in August 1951, while flying over Songjin as an escort for a photo reconnaissance plane. He spent a total of 121 hours flying, 78 flights over Korea throughout his 3 years in the U.S. Navy. On August 23, 1952, he left the Navy and joined the U.S. Naval Reserve as a lieutenant, junior grade. He remained there for 8 years, before leaving in 1960. He submitted an application to the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics in 1955, with the intention of becoming a test pilot for experimental research, NACA. However, because there were no openings, his application was sent to the Cleveland-based Lewis Flight Propulsion Laboratory, where he eventually started working. After several months, he returned to NACA. His first task was to fly chase planes, while modified bombers released experimental aircraft. He worked for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration (NASA), formerly NACA, for 17 years in a variety of positions, including engineer, test pilot, astronaut, and administrator. He tested a variety of high-speed aircraft as a research pilot, such as the X-15, which had a top speed of 4,000 miles per hour. He piloted roughly 200 different types of aircraft in all, including gliders, rocket ships, helicopters, and jets. He was chosen for the Man in Space Soonest program of the U.S. Air Force in the year 1958. 2 years later, he was chosen to be a member of the X-20 Dinosaur pilot consultant team. He ultimately cracked the top 7 pilot engineers who will fly spacecraft in 1962. He made history by becoming the first American civilian to visit space. As command pilot, he flew the Gemini VII's inaugural mission, which lifted off on March 16, 1966. Technical issues caused the spacecraft to return 11 hours after it was supposed to, after a scheduled 75 hours and 55 orbits. He served as a backup command pilot for Gemini 11 in his final role for the Gemini program. Armstrong was to serve as Capcom on September 12, 1966, when the launch was planned. He was chosen to serve as the commander of Apollo 11 on December 23, 1968. Michael Collins piloted the command module, while Buzz Aldrin was in charge of the lunar module. On July 20, 1969, only a few seconds after 2017 and 40 seconds Universal Time Coordinated, the three touched down on the Moon. Armstrong accomplished history's first moon landing. "That's one modest stride for a man, one great leap for mankind," he said in his opening statement. He took a brief, 2-hour walk on the Moon before returning to the spaceship and leaving for Earth. The USS Hornet retrieved them after they made landfall in the Pacific Ocean. He and the crew went around the globe as part of a 45-day giant leap trip after spending 18 days in quarantine. After the Apollo 11 mission, he said that he would not make another space journey. He was appointed as the Office of Advanced Research and Technology, Advanced Research Projects Agency, ARPA Deputy S. Associate Administrator for Aeronautics in 1970, but only held the position for a year before leaving from both ARPA and NASA. He accepted a position as a professor in the Department of Aerospace Engineering at the University of Cincinnati. He held the role for around 8 years, before leaving in 1979. On January 28, 1956, he married Janet Elizabeth Sheeran at the Congregational Church in Wilmette, Illinois. 3 children were a blessing for the couple. He was chosen to be an astronaut, making him the first citizen astronaut for NASA. However, completing the Apollo 11 mission, the first manned flight to the Moon, was his most notable lifetime accomplishment. Over the course of a little more than 2 hours, he became the first man to ever walk on the surface of the Moon. The Presidential Medal of Freedom, the Congressional Space Medal of Honor, the Robert H. Goddard Memorial Trophy, the Sylvanus Thayer Award, and the Collier Trophy from the National Aeronautics Association, are just a few of the outstanding honors bestowed upon him. He also won the John J. Montgomery Award, the NASA Distinguished Service Medal, the Langley Gold Medal, the American Astronautical Society Flight Achievement Award, the Congressional Gold Medal, and the NASA Distinguished Service Medal. Both the Aerospace Walk of Honor and the American Astronaut Hall of Fame inducted him. He has both a lunar crater and an asteroid named after him. In addition, he has had numerous places like public squares, streets, buildings, airports, and schools named after him all around the world. The Space Foundation presented him with the 2013 General James E. Hill Lifetime Space Achievement Award. On August 7, 2012, Armstrong underwent a bypass procedure at Mercy Faith Fairfield Hospital in Cincinnati to treat coronary artery disease. Despite reports that he was doing well, he developed problems and passed away on August 25 at the age of 82.